Thanks everyone for coming along. Sorry we're a little bit late. Good afternoon and welcome obviously to Amy Park. And thanks for joining us for what is a truly special occasion in the history of the Melbourne Storm. We're here today to celebrate a monumental milestone, Craig Bellamy's 600th game as senior coach of our club, an extraordinary achievement and one that places Craig in truly rare company. He becomes just the fourth coach in NRL Premiership history, dating back to 1908 to reach the 600 game mark. To say Craig's contribution to the game, to Melbourne Storm, to Rugby League and to Australian sport as a whole is significant would be a massive understatement. Across 22 seasons he's led this club with unrivalled consistency, professionalism and passion. Under his leadership we've reached an incredible 21 final series, played in 9 grand finals and secured 5 premiership victories. The success doesn't stop there. Craig has guided the club to 6 minor premierships, most recently in 2024, 2 World Club Challenge titles, and individually his excellence has been recognised with 7 Dally M Coach of the Year awards. His legacy extends far beyond the wins and the trophies. Craig has shaped the culture, values and identity of the Melbourne Storm. He's developed countless players into champions, both on and off the field, mentored coaches, many of whom are senior coaches at other NRL clubs now, and built a system that continues to set the benchmark for professionalism and performance right across the competition. Today and this week is about acknowledging, celebrating and honouring all of that and more. Craig, on behalf of the Melbourne Storm family, board, our staff, players, coaches, partners and fans, congratulations on your 600 game milestone. We'll now open up to questions from the floor. Thank you for being here.
Craig, congratulations.
Well, thank
Did
you.
you think in 2002 when you signed on for this club you'd still be here living in Melbourne outside of League Heartland for this long?
No, I probably don't think like that along those lines at all, but I haven't got much of a memory actually, but thinking back that long ago, I think at one stage we had went through a bit of a rocky period during the first 10 weeks I was there, and I think I remember coming to work there for about a week or 2 weeks thinking that there'd probably a one-way ticket out of Melbourne on my desk, but they stuck with us, and yeah, like I say, it sounds like a lot of games, and well, it probably is, and it sounds like a lot of years, and it is, but geez, it's just gone really quickly, you know. All of a sudden, you know, I can sort of still remember when I first come here, and you know, to be here for 22 years, 23 years is, yeah, like I say, it's gone quickly.
Has it sunk in, I guess, just how big this achievement is, Craig? Like 600 games is a lot of games.
Yeah, it is a lot of games when you work it out into seasons, and you know, obviously there's a lot of finals in there as well. So yeah, like I say, it's yeah, like it just seems a bit surreal, to be quite honest. You know, for for me to be coaching that long, and and coached at such a great club, and that they've had so many great players as well. You know, so I think that's one of the reasons I'm still here. You know, some of the players we've had have been remarkable players, and that's obviously helped. And certainly the one thing that we always pride ourselves on, when we hire people into our staff, our coaches and the people in our performance staff and whatever, and Justin would say the same for his staff. They're all really good people, and good people care about about what the club's about, and they care about their teammates, and I think that's the one thing we've always prided ourselves on, and make sure that that's what we do, and that makes for a good club.
I know it's early in the week, but have you sort of felt the love, felt the support yet? Any of the boys inside the walls, like family and friends?
I got a couple of texts this morning actually, so I imagine there'll be probably a couple during the week, but yeah, like I say, it was I suppose, last Friday night with the win we had, I was sort of thinking, more things, that. Obviously doing our review today for that, and then doing a preview and our opposition this week. Haven't really thought about it too much, but with this happening and getting a few texts, it'll probably sink in as the week goes on.
Did you have to be convinced to do this and to have the t-shirts and everything made, or you don't look that comfortable talking about
I don't think you know about everything going on this week.
Yeah, I probably don't actually.
We keep a little bit from him just in case.
There's a few things. It's a pretty busy week. The jumper thing I sort of knew about but didn't know about. But anyway, at the end of the day, I'm just going to try and concentrate on what I do and coach the team for this week and then go from there.
How do you feel like you've changed, I guess, in the time that you've been here? Do you feel like you've changed at all? And you've obviously had so many players grow up in front of your eyes and move through the club.
Yeah, I think I've changed a lot. I don't know whether it's me getting older. I think I noticed a bit of a change in me when I started having grandkids, when the grandkids come along. I think I mellowed a touch. So I think, like when I first come, I was a bit gung-ho and I say first come, for the first 5-6 years probably I was a bit gung-ho and it was my way or the highway type thing. But as you get older, you learn different ways and different methods and as I said, just that experience of early sort of makes you a bit more confident in sometimes I think when it was my way or the highway, it was just sometimes I wasn't quite sure what I was doing anyway, So, but like I say, I think the one thing that I've always done is if I make a decision, I back it and go with it type thing. I think now, I'm a lot more, giving of the other coaches, a bit more responsibility, which I was, probably didn't do that earlier. So I've changed in a lot of ways, and I'd be disappointed if I haven't. In 23 years, I've been doing the same job if I hadn't changed a little bit, and I think some of it just comes through, the new generation as well. They probably don't respond to, getting spoken to in the way I probably used to speak to players. As I said, the highway, my way or the highway. But now it's there's always, trying to make people feel, good about themselves and whatever. So at the end of the day, like I say, I think as I've got older, I've sort of mellowed a bit and been a bit more comfortable in my own skin and letting other guys in the club, do their jobs without me sort of, leaning over their shoulder all the time.
Just to follow on from that, you were joking the other day that Cameron Smith and Billy Slater reckon you were much harder on them than you are on the boys nowadays. Is there a bit of merit in that?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, you'd probably get in a bit more trouble these days if I said if I said what I said to Cameron and Billy earlier in their careers, what I would have said to these blokes, I'd probably be Justin be giving me the keys to head out the door, not in the door.
Craig, congratulations. You touched on it a little bit. What's changed in the game most? What's been your observations about the game?
I think it's a lot more, with the bunkers and it's just more magnified now. What happens in the game, and I think that's good. I think the one big thing with that is like the head knocks, and I think that's obviously a good thing with all the knowledge the medical people have got now of head knocks, and I think that's great what the game's done. So to try and clean that up. I think at some stages I think some parts of our game do get inconsistent, but I think that's a good part of our game that we're really consistent with that now, and I think that's a great thing for the the safety of the players. Yeah, like I say, I suppose that just the things that like I don't like and like in the game or in life generally, you know, is when there is inconsistent things. You know, that's the things that I always sort of look at, and you know, if they're going to do that for this team or they're going to do that on this occasion, well, they need to do it on every occasion. So like I say, you know, like at the end of the day, that's not my role to make some of those decisions. My role is to, you know, be the head coach of the Melbourne Storm, and basically that's what I stick to.
So what are you most proud of on the journey?
Oh, I'd like to think most of the players that have come here and spent, you know, a fair bit of time here, you know, over 5 or 6 years, you know, hopefully, you know, they've left as better people, to be quite honest, you know, and understanding that, you know, whatever your dreams are, whatever you really want to do with your life, you go after it and you grab it, and you know, at the end of the day, you don't want to be cruising. And the other thing, you know, I think I've always believed in, you don't get nothing for nothing. If you want something, you need to work hard for it, and I think that's, you know, why some of these players have come here as good young players, but they're left as great players, and because, you know, they've been willing to put the time, willing to put the effort in, and working hard.
Glenn McGrath says he can remember his first 300 Test wickets. It gets a bit hazy after that. What do you remember from 600 games? What are the
You know, there's obviously the good times, that, you know, the premierships, you know, but it's not all about premierships either. As you say, you know, as I just said, you know, just, you know, the careers that some guys, you know, go into when they leave here, you know, and the people they become, you know. So that's probably the, you know, yeah, like I say, I suppose I'm really proud of those guys, you know, and you know, and you know, really proud of what they've done for the Melbourne Storm, but you know, proud on what they've learned here and taken into life in general.
Any particular games? Any particular
games?
Games, moments.
Oh, yeah, there's a fair few. Obviously, you know, winning the premiership. Well, you know, there's, you know, been 5 there, but the one I probably remember most and value most is 2012. You know, for what we went through in 2010, to come back and win a premiership within 2 years of, you know, basically the club was gutted, you know, of what happened, but also of players, you know, and you know, to rebuild in 2 years and win a premiership, that was, yeah, that was quite remarkable.
Is it fair to say that was the hardest part of your coaching career to date?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's first daylight second. Yeah, yeah, that was a tough year, and you know, especially when it first happened and whatever. So yeah, you know, it was tough, and it was really tough on the players. You know, I know myself. You know, I was whatever I was, 50 odd, 55, whatever I was, then 57. Like, I'd been through a few things in my life, so I think I was a little bit battle hardened, but that was really hard to take. And you know, for the players, you know, late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, you know, for them to go through what they went through, they probably come out the other end a bit stronger for it, but it's a tough way to get stronger, I tell you. And yeah, like I say, it was amazing how they handled that and got through that.
In terms of your legacy, is one of the things you're most proud of that when you look around, like you've got so many former players that are, you know, coming through your coaching ranks, and also like you have coached as well, and that have been assistants and gone on, but like, you know, the way that you've kind of spread your knowledge and that of the game, love of the game.
Oh yeah, I think, you know, everyone's got their own, you know, their own passions in life, and you know, if it is footy, like sometimes, you know, some guys, you know, they play because they're good at it and they can earn a good living out of it, but after they finish, you know, it's not their main passion, you know. And I've always sort of said to them, you know, know what your passion is, or try and know what your passion is, and go and chase it. Because sometimes when the kids come along, well, you might not get a chance to do it then. So, but as I said, it's really important just to do what you really enjoy in life, and because sometimes if you just let that go, you might not get that opportunity in 5 or 10 years' time. So, like I say, it's to see some of the guys go to what they've gone to after their footy careers has been really pleasing and real happy for.
Justin?
Sorry, you obviously had a lot of success. You know what it takes. What about your side this season? You're on the eve of finals, another top 2 finish. How far can your team go this season?
I don't know. I know we're actually, I don't even know we're playing this week. No, we're playing the Roosters this week. That's about all. Like I say, that the one thing I've always done is know who we're playing this week, and then we take each day by each day. And, every now and then you'll put one eye on what's happening in 2 or 3 weeks' time. But at the end of the day, we just need to make sure we keep building and give ourselves the best chance we can in 2 weeks' time. Yeah.
Justin,
Wayne?
from your point of view, just how much easier is your job knowing that this guy's in charge of everything that's happening on field?
Yeah, I mean, he's just had such an enormous impact on so many people. Obviously, Melbourne Storm has, we're 27 years young, and pretty much for our entire history, Craig's been our coach. The broader sporting landscape here in Melbourne, helping the club, to become a club that people know about, that people start to enjoy and passionate about. It's been really significant for the Melbourne Storm, and I'd like to see the next statue here at Melbourne Olympic Parks be of Craig Bellamy, because I think his impact on this city, on this team and on this club has just been so enormous. And he's a very humble person and hard-working and process-driven, as you guys have just heard, and that's what's made him such a great coach. But for us as a footy club to have someone so dedicated to what he does, lives by his own mantra, literally does play the role that he plays, has what's enabled the club to be so successful over such a long period of time. And we're so grateful to have him as part of our club, and hopefully that's for a few more years to come, Craig. But his legacy in this city, not just in the NRL and not just for the Melbourne Storm, is really significant.
Is this statue something you'll campaign for while he's in the job, or wait till everything's...
There's too many pigeons for the other 2 statues out there.
Craig,
Absolutely.
Wayne's
absolutely.
got a few years on you and a few games. Like, obviously you signed up for next year, but do you think you'll keep going as long as him?
No, I think he's one of a kind. Wayne, how many games he's coached, it's quite remarkable. He just keeps turning up, and getting the job done. Yeah, no, I can't see myself going that far though.
No, every time Craig starts thinking about it, I remind him that he's that much younger than Wayne, so he's got plenty of time left.
What would that mean to you, Craig, to actually be immortalised in bronze out here somewhere?
Oh, I don't know. I never really thought I'd be quite honest. I don't think it'd change my life too much. I don't think I'd go and visit the statue every day. But like I say, might be a good thing for the pigeons.
Can I
Craig,
ask you what?
sorry.
I was just going to ask about Harry, the band, too much band. Have you got any comment about that?
I thought it was very, very harsh decision, especially when you've seen some of the other, the other actions similar to that throughout the year. I thought it was very harsh.
Just on the news about Des Hasler today, any thoughts at all about his sacking?
No, I've only just heard that as I walked in actually, so I don't really know, what's happened there or whatever. But Des has been a great coach, going for a long time. He's a great player as well, and we've had a few battles ourselves. With going back to the late 2000s when he was coaching at Manly, and he's a great fella. Des is obviously a great coach. Done a great job at Manly, and I'm not quite sure what's happened there, but I'd like to say wish him all the best, and I'm sure, you know, he's still got a lot to get to our game.